so much trouble. I thought this was the search for the Triangle's best looking accountant. Man, how was I supposed to know? And I was at this thing last year, the search for the Triangle's funniest accountant, and that was the most miserable night of my life. All I did was stand up here on stage telling jokes, and everyone just kept laughing at me. But you think that was bad? I was actually here a week ago at the search for the Triangle's most financially literate comedian. Way worse. So speaking of financial literacy, everyone has been hit by the recession, and I'm no different. I've had to take a few side jobs to help bring in the income. So in addition to working for the Office of the State Auditor now, I'm spending some time at the repair shop at night working as a fixed asset manager. And on weekends, I'm serving as a marriage counselor since I have lots of experience doing reconciliations. And people wonder, why, Peter, why, you already have a full-time job, why do you need to work all these extra jobs? And as Senator Stein said before, it's because I have financial goals. I'm trying to meet my financial goals. I want to, some people, they want to save for a college fund or a house. My own personal financial goal is to make love in a big pile of $100 bills. It gives a whole new meaning to the term leverage. But actually, strangely enough, the economy has taken a harder toll on the non-financial component of that goal. Because I'd say in the past year, I maybe approached and talked to about 200 girls or so, and only 3 of them would go on a date with me. Only 3. I didn't understand it at first. And then it hit me, oh, it's low interest rates. Only 1.5%. You can get a much better return in bonds, but I've always been really scared of bonds because I've been turned off by anything that requires maturity. And of course, there's plenty of money to be made in derivatives. I've been making money in derivatives since I was in high school. The football team would give me their homework and pay me $5. I'd do it for them. All right. Now, as Dan said, I work for the North Carolina Office of the State Auditor, and clearly we need no introduction. I'm sure most of you guys subscribe to our report feed on our website at ncauditor.net. But for the few who don't, we serve as the taxpayer's watchdog, which means that when the taxpayer has friends over, we'll lick ourselves in inappropriate places, we'll shed lots of hair on the taxpayer's couch, and we'll bark at the taxpayer's neighbors late at night. I kid, of course. I kid. We serve a valuable function, but to give you a better idea of what it is that our office does, there's a lot of bad accountants out there who are willing to take the low road. They'll just sit in their offices and massage the numbers ever so gently. We never massage numbers. We walk into the numbers office and give them a firm handshake and look the numbers straight in the eye. Now, I'm mostly a financial auditor, but I also do some side projects as well. Most recently, I was able to do some work in the People's Republic of China as part of our audit exchange program. And it was a really eye-opening experience, let me tell you. I have a feeling that there's a lot of corruption going on in that country, because everywhere I went, I was seeing red flags. So what's a good auditor do? I went and talked to these people and interviewed them and waited until they made that critical Freudian slip. been spending some time helping out with facilities maintenance for our office. And it's allowed me to answer that age-old question of how many auditors it takes to screw in a light bulb. Actually, it's 5 is the answer. It takes 1 to screw in the light bulb, 1 to keep an inventory of light bulbs, 1 to record that the light bulb was screwed in, 1 to render an opinion on whether or not the light bulb was screwed in correctly, and 1 to perform a peer review of whether or not the light bulb was screwed in. So, in addition to being an auditor, I'm also a licensed CPA, which stands for Comedy Performing Auditor. No. But it's interesting that I bring that up because recently my mom was telling a friend of hers that I was a CPA. She's like, oh, my son's a CPA. And her friend was one of these kinds that can't be outdone by anybody. She says, oh, well, my son is a certified public accountant. But I'm not just content being a CPA, I'm always trying to improve my skills. So I recently took a class in statistics over the summer. But looking back, I think that class was a total waste of time because the further I get into the class, the more I regressed. And people always ask me, they say, Peter, you know, you're kind of a funny guy, a little awkward, but you can tell a good joke or two every now and then. What are you doing sitting there playing around with spreadsheets all day long? And I tell them, first of all, becoming an auditor did not make me awkward. I was awkward a long, long time. Now that I think about it, becoming an auditor made me come out of my shell. But it's a valid question, and I think my love of accounting stems from my early childhood when my dad would always tell me, he'd say, son, if you don't shape up one of these days, I'm going to have to trade you in for a pickup truck. And that got me to thinking, you know, what would happen if you did trade an 8-year-old wise ass in for a pickup truck? Would you recognize a gain on the transaction? Would it be an operating gain? I had to find out, so I became an accountant. I joked about my family, but they're really wonderful people. They have their strange idiosyncrasies, though, like all parents do. Probably the worst one is my mom's constant habit of referring to my underwear as panties. They're really not, I promise you. And another less annoying habit is they would always give me the dictionary answer when I was a kid. You know, I'd ask them, what does this word mean? I'll go look it up in the dictionary. And, you know, Mom, what does adultery mean? Don't worry, you haven't done that one, son. What does it mean? Kids can't do that one. And now that I think about it, maybe that's why they call it adultery. It's coming to the end of my routine, and I just wanted to let you guys know that if you want to have some more fun nights, some of us are going to the state fair afterwards. We're going to visit the craft section and try to estimate the fair market values. Alright, I've told lots of jokes, but I want to end tonight on a very serious note. These modern times can be very trying for some of us, and a lot of times the world feels like a very impersonal place. But I want all of you to know that you've got a friend right here, and everything is going to be okay in the end. That'll be $100 each for the assurance services.